in a place known as the Scenic City, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And today, a key battle for positioning in the Southern Conference. The Mercer Bears in to take on the Chattanooga Mocs. Standings in the Southern Conference look like this. 3 teams tied at the top. It's been that way now for a couple of weeks. Furman, UNCG, and Samford. And around these parts, the others, you might say, are the rest of y'all. The key for all of them, be in 6th place or higher at the end of the regular season ahead of the SoCon tournament in early March. Hi, everybody, and welcome in with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity. Now, if you want to give each of these teams an individual distinction, you might say Chattanooga has become Mr. Outside, Mercer, Mr. Inside.
Absolutely. The Bears really have been productive inside, not so much behind the three-point arc. Last in three-point field goal percentage in the Southern Conference. But you're right, for Chattanooga, they lost arguably the best big man in the conference, one of the best in the country, and Jake Stevens, so they're not really having to rely on the three-point shot.
Their ability to shoot it from beyond the arc on display the other night when they knocked off the Citadel here on their home court.
9 different Mocs made a three-point shot in that game. More than ever, as mentioned, they're having to rely on the shot behind the three-point line. And when they do that, then that stretches the defense and it opens up driving lines, which is critical without that big fella inside. For the Mercer Bears, Jalen McCree, he's been on a tear the last 3 weeks. He leads them in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. He also leads them in field goal percentage, over 55%. He's got a great mid-range game. He is a tough one-on-one matchup.
Chattanooga won decisively in the first meeting of the season down in Macon, Georgia. Now they go for the regular season sweep. Their arena is known as the Roundhouse. They hope it's rocking this afternoon. We come back and tip it off after this. Mocs still without a field goal in the early going. Reversing out high, shot clock under 5, drive to the bucket. And Brody Robinson is becoming a crowd favorite in his freshman season here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's tough. He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Jamal Johnson, 21 points in the first meeting. Dumps inside to Alexis. Robinson from the wing. Gets it to go.
That's where you get your best threes. You go inside, the defense collapses, the eyeballs follow.
Hurtado in the corner. Shot clock at 5. Corsalt defending. And Hurtado breaking down a defender as he can do so well at previous stops, UAB and Bryant, and so far this season with the Bears.
Yeah, we talk so much about McCreary for the Bears, but I think that guy right there, Hurtado, is really an X factor for them.
Zanoni recovered just in time to deny Johnson. Alexis. Big fella stepping out.
That can make threes like Alexis. It's difficult for David Craig to play a lot of minutes.
Michael Zanoni, freshman from Charlotte, known for doing just that.
He can certainly do that. Half his shots behind the arc. He's not shot it particularly well in Southern Conference play, but boy, you better guard him. You better not let him get going and get his confidence.
Dean, so often in college hoops we see teams whose roster has a lot of talent. They just can't sync up. I think the Mercer Bears are Exhibit A in that regard. We'll talk more about it.
Fast, reliable, secure.
Mercer began at a 9-0 run. They have a 6-point lead here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome in to the Roundhouse with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity. Now you see a couple of teams that have 5-8 Southern Conference marks, but we cannot emphasize the importance of this ball game moving ahead about 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, there's so much involved as you head toward Asheville, where the annual Southern Conference tournament is held. Look, there's tiebreakers, there's just all kinds of things, and in particular for Dan Earl and the Mocs, you've got to try to take care of home if you're going to finish in the top 6, which is really the ultimate goal, so that you don't have to play on Friday. Winning 3 games is hard enough, winning 4 almost impossible.
Greg Gary and the Mercer Bears saw Chattanooga go into Macon earlier this season and win decisively. That was when they had big man Jake Stevens available, did the Mocs. Robinson feeling it so far. Wow. Burst of energy in a small package off the bench. Zanoni, the freshman. McCrary had stops at South Florida and South Carolina, found a home at the Macon, Georgia school. What a nice touch he has. That's how he averaged nearly 16 a game.
He looked around, the double team never came, and he recognized one-on-one with Alexis right there. That's generally going to be his advantage.
Alexis.
Well, a nice pass, an even better catch by the young fella inside, and you can see his confidence growing with each possession.
He has 7. Zanoni looking for another 3. That's a couple for the first-year Bear out of Charlotte. Sam Alexis. Dan Earl, his head coach, says he wants to see more of an aggressive mindset. I think he's delivering is the freshman from Apopka, Florida.
Boy, he and Robinson have been fantastic off the bench. A real spark offensively for the Mocs.
Bears lead cut to 2. Call him Dr. Midrange. McCreary still specializing in that art. Got a timeout on the court. Jayla McCreary and the Mercer Bears trying to get a win on the road in the SoCon. They have a 4-point lead. 4-point lead for the Mercer Bears, seeking their revenge on the road against the Chattanooga Mocs. And welcome back to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And look who stopped by, Jake Stevens, the big man. Now, if you follow the Southern Conference, you saw this guy wearing the red and gold of the VMI Keydets in the first 4 years of his career. To blue and gold this year, you were off to the same kind of start and the same kind of productivity you'd given VMI back on around the 18th of January. You got hurt in the game against Furman and haven't been able to return. First off, tell us about the injury to your right hand, how it happened.
Yeah, it was just kind of a freak accident early in the second half. I don't know, 17, 18 minutes left, and just kind of got caught going for a rebound and just, I don't know, hit my hand wrong, and now here we are. But you know, I'm confident I'll be back. So
yeah, and the progress, hope maybe by later this month.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that's the goal. We're got a follow-up doctor's appointment coming up soon, so we'll see. We'll get more details then.
Jake, your teammates are having to learn to win without you. What are you doing to help them, right? During the game, during practices, in the apartment, just what are you doing to help them right now?
I mean, one thing's trying to bring energy, trying to bring that consistent energy every day in practice and in the games on the bench and stuff. But definitely working with the big men, you know, figuring out, you know, helping them figure out the offense a little better and, you know, how to move hard and stuff like that.
You've had to see this team as I know it's just been difficult for you to watch, although that's not difficult to watch, that kind of ball movement and make it a 2-point game. But you've had to watch now and see how your head coach, Dan Earl, who you were with at VMI, had to really change the mindset of this team to more of an outside. You would go to the high post, for example, on offense and maybe draw a couple of defenders. That's not happening. I think you've been able to, though, be a very good asset in the ear of the young big men, and for that matter, veterans like Casey Hankton as well.
Right, it's a different game than they're used to. You know, we play a specific type of way. Good move in there by Randy Brady. But we play a different way than most teams, and even how Sam and Casey are accustomed to. So, you know, I'm just trying to do everything I can to help them pick it up as fast as they can. So,
what can you do to stay in shape right now?
Oh, I'm walking the bleachers here, you know, doing all kinds of anything like that. We got a great strength and conditioning staff, so they've been putting me through it. So it's almost worse being hurt than you are out there playing.
Jake, maybe it happened in the first matchup in which you played in Chattanooga's big win down in Macon. Maybe you would have denied the access that McCreary just had on that throw down to give Mercer the lead back. I'm going out on a limb and guessing you've probably ridden from here to California and back on the exercise bike in your downtime.
Oh yeah, it's been we've definitely been on the bike, definitely been on the treadmill. We have like a skier, a Versa climber, like all this stuff I didn't even know we had, and they're just bringing it out and throwing it all at me. So
hey, back to I love it, by the way. We talk about guys off the bench too today. You know, give the fans and the viewers a little bit of knowledge about Brody Robinson and others that have really got you going here today, and they have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest thing we preach is just be ready when your name's called. Whether it's, you know, you're starting and it's the first, you know, media, or you come in later, or whatever it is. I mean, we just try to stay ready all the time, and Brody's done a great job. He always brings consistent energy and has been really good for us.
What is it like going from a military school, VMI, to Chattanooga, which is not a military school, and just a beautiful town, Lexington, Virginia. I'm not working for their Chamber of Commerce, but I'll tell you, one of the most beautiful places, in my opinion, on the map.
Yep.
But a typical college town with Washington and Lee, Mary Baldwin also there.
Right.
To Chattanooga, which is a good-sized city. What has that transition been like?
It's been different. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that both places are beautiful. Chattanooga's just a great city as well, so I've been into two really nice cities, but yeah, definitely have some more free time, definitely have a little bit more walking around time, so I'm happy about that.
Jake, you gave the Bears a 9-0 lead here, but now your Mocs are back even, 25 all. What's the key? Right? What's the key for this team today and moving forward without you? Right? Is it at the defensive end? What exactly is the key to success for these guys?
Just consistent effort the whole game. We talked about that a lot. We've run into a couple problems where we have, maybe we're playing 35 minutes of great basketball and we have a 5-minute slump. So, bringing consistent energy for 4 minutes and really just having confidence. I think a lot of these guys, great play by Sam. Let's go 4.
Boy, he's been good here.
He's going to be a really good player in this league for a long time. But yeah, just bringing consistent energy and, playing a full 40 minutes because we feel we can compete with everybody.
I got to think that what we just saw there from working with you in practice from the time he got to campus, you gave him a wake-up to college hoops at this level.
I think he would tell you that he definitely gave me a little bit of a wake-up, too. I wasn't prepared for him to be as good as he is already. I mean, I definitely wasn't doing any of that as a freshman, throwing down dunks and stuff like that. Go another way. But no, he's done amazing, and he's just like a sponge. He's just trying to learn every day.
Take another look at the charge as we go back and forth here, and Jamal Walker for Chattanooga, the guilty party. Hurtado hitting the deck. How important do you think it was for you and for another guy that came along from VMI but has to sit out the season, Honor Huff, to be that sounding board between the players on the Chattanooga roster that had no idea who Dan Earl was,
yep,
and you guys who had played for him the past few seasons?
It was big. I mean, it was, it's pretty cool, though, because you kind of see their culture and their winning culture. Obviously, they had a great year last year, so as much as they're trying to learn from me, I'm trying to take a little bit from them, and I think that's why we can be such a great team, because they have a lot of good things set already. So,
when Furman played Chattanooga, the unfortunate night that Jake was injured, 7 NBA scouts were in the building. They were watching Jake. They were watching a pretty good big for the Furman Paladins named Jalen Slauson.
Yep.
And those guys are going to keep you in their contacts, I can assure you of that.
I appreciate it.
Dean, I'll tell you what impresses me about this guy. He's a guy who's got a chance to play in the NBA, and while he's here at Chattanooga, the student side of the student athlete in him is working on his MBA.
Well, I think you and I have known that for a couple of years, having done games at VMI. Just a quality student athlete. Really appreciate you stopping by here for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's been awesome.
Jake Stevens, keep an eye on the Chattanooga Mocs down the stretch. He'll be back eventually. For now, he's a spectator, as are we, in a tight game so far here on the banks of the Tennessee River. They started 0-5 in the Southern Conference, first time since they joined the league in the middle of the last decade that had happened. From the outside, Jordan Jones. His coach told us before the game he was probably going to try to get him in the rotation. Jones, this time from out front. Chance to match their biggest or take their largest lead of the game. Quinones, Walker, here's Jones. It's like he's playing a game of horse.
And a terrific extra pass by Sean Walker. He had a chance to shoot it. Gave up a good 3 for a great 3.
Alexis on the follow. 13 in the game to lead the way. Johnson pushing the pace. Bears this morning in their shoot-around worked on transition defense, but no answer that time. Johnson from the wing.
You've got to find him early and often. I mean, he is a skilled offensive player.
You saw him double down. It opens White on the wing. And that'll do it here in the opening half of play. Good ball movement that time for the Mocs. Nothing to show for it. And they'll head to the locker room looking up at a 5-point deficit. That's been a good place for Greg Gary's team this year. They're 9-2 when they lead at the half. Chattanooga this season 3-6 when they trail at the intermission. Dan Earl getting ready to talk to his guys at the break. Chattanooga trying to protect the home court and make it a regular season sweep.
Well, the Bears shot it well. If they can emulate that again, they got a chance to pick up a key road win in SoCon play.
Second half about to begin as we welcome you back to Chattanooga, Tennessee. The visiting Mercer Bears, a 5-point advantage. Playing their 27th game of the year. It's just the 12th time this year the Mercers had a lead at the half. And with Dean Keener, Pete Yannity. And if we told you before the game they'd be leading at the half, we'd have said to you, because they're going to grind it out, score a lot inside. Suffice it to say, my friend, I don't think we nailed that one.
No, just turn it around, right? Mercer, from the outside, they're arguably the worst three-point shooting team in conference play at 28%. They make 7. And then conversely for Chattanooga, they go inside. Sam Alexis has a career half.
Bears were just 1 of 15 beyond the arc in the first meeting this season when Chattanooga went into Macon, Georgia, and won decisively. But in the first half, a completely different look for them.
The three-point shooting was just outstanding across the board. Multiple Bears got involved. Michael Zanoni hit 2, and there were multiple guys. Sean Walker hit a couple. Look, when you make threes, it's the great equalizer, especially when you're on the road. 7 of 16 for 44%. For the Mocs, Sam Alexis has mentioned 13 points in 14 minutes. Just the 4th time this season he's been in double figures. Boy, and you see right there, great catch. He had a couple other catches that led to an assist or just a saved possession. He was really good, but he'll need to do so again and provide that interior presence with the absence of Jake Stevens.
Alexis, the 13 points, is best against a D1 opponent, and this is freshman season. Previously, 11 points in their win against their rival ETSU on the road in late January. He'll start this half, as he did the opening 20 minutes, over on the bench.
And we talk so much about the threes as we see a nice cut right there by Johnson, a basket cut. He was overplayed. But boy, for the Mocs, I mean, they hang their hat on three-point shooting. They're going to need to make more than 4 this half.
Drake, no, but McCrary to clean up, who had scored moments ago. 21 points and 8 boards in the first meeting.
McCreary led the Bears with 10 in the first half, and then you see right there, boy, both Hankton and Caldwell just watch that layup attempt, and they don't put a body on McCreary. Here he goes again. He's very good from that high post. Almost unstoppable one-on-one when you don't have a shot-blocking presence.
Back to a 7-point game. Walker for Mercer, to the guy who does most of their scoring, and he's right on the mark today. Jalen McCrary now has 16 points, and we've got a timeout on the court. McCrary had a big game the first time he saw Chattanooga, 19 points a few weeks back. He and his team are rolling here. A.J. Caldwell, not that time. Walker battling for Chattanooga, comes away with it. What a great save by Jamal Walker.
Well, certainly was, and then found Hankton right there to help him corral it.
White. Chance to get a little bit closer for the Mocs. Hankton on the run. Gets his own rebound.
He had a feeling that wasn't going to go in, and so he stopped his momentum on that layup and found himself underneath the basket for that rebound. Nice job by Hankton right there.
Dan Earl called a timeout for Chattanooga moments ago. He was unhappy with his team's defense. I get the sense Greg Gary feeling the same way about his Bears.
Yeah, it's a game of starts and stops, runs both ways. This is going to come down to the wire.
Been an eventful week in the Southern Conference. Front and center in that, the performances by Trey Jackson and Vontarius Woolbright, 47 and 30 points respectively on Wednesday night in Spartanburg, South Carolina, in a double overtime win at Wofford.
Look, Justin Gray's done an outstanding job in Cullowhee, and you see Trey Jackson right there, the transfer from Iowa State, 47 on just 21 shots, perfect from the free throw line. I mean, you don't lose many games when you got 2 guys combined for 77 points.
Woolbright actually made the shot that put the Catamounts ahead to stay as they made it a regular season sweep in the series against the Terriers. They had to travel back to the upstate of South Carolina this afternoon. One of the first place teams, Furman, got its revenge on Western and beat them 93-59. But Trey Jackson, Vontarius Woolbright, first teammates this season in all of Division I to have a 40 and 30-point game in the same contest.
Western Carolina's starting 5 is arguably as good as just about anybody's in the Southern Conference.
No problem for White with Glisson's hand in his face, and it's back to a 2-point deficit. Inside, McCreary couldn't find the handle. Robinson comes away with it. Gets it ahead, Walker. And we're tied at 46. Chance to retake the lead. They were up by 2 briefly in the opening half. From the corner, Johnson. Shot clock coming up on 5. Alexis way outside. 16 of the game.
That's what the three-point shot does. It opens up driving lines, especially against this defense of Mercer. Watch Robinson again. Alexis knows when that ball is picked up, shot clock is down, he better let it fly. Shannon Grant too late to recover.
Christian Kersall getting it into Alexis.
First the 3 and then off the out of bounds with the left-hand finish, and Jake Stevens loves it.
Hurtado. Glisson out front. And the senior delivering at just the right time. Alexis, the 6'9" freshman, taken away by Jones. Doesn't have numbers, almost had it knocked away by Alexis. Dangerous pass, Glisson. Caldwell defends. James Glisson playing a big role. We're tied at 54. Second time we've been even here in half number 2.
Nice catch by Glisson and nice recognition. No double team came. It was he and A.J. Caldwell one-on-one.
Alexis out front. Closing in on the first 20-point game of his college career. Just a 7th turnover for Mercer. Alexis again out front. Wow.
And he turns to the crowd and says, oh my gosh. Well, the pace is picked up, but yet in a game like this, now under 8 minutes, 6-point lead is a big lead.
Robertson, big basket. You saw him in the background moments ago, so we'll check on the status of Jalen McCreary. Got a timeout on the court. Sam Alexis having a coming out party.
If you don't know who Sam Alexis is, he's a freshman from Apaloca, Florida, and he is the Mocs leading scorer.
Take a look at the game summary brought to you by AT&T 5G. Chattanooga Mocs, after a slow start, have heated up. Now 9 of 19 beyond the arc. Down at the bottom, Sam Alexis building on his career high. Previously, it was 11 in terms of a Division I opponent. And he has been something not only down low, but out beyond the arc.
Yeah, he's been the difference maker for the Mocs here in the second half. But I mean, he had 13 in the first half. So been consistent both ways, but I think the key there is McCreary. You see 16, but he really hasn't been a factor here in the last 7 or 8 minutes. He had 10 at half, came out and scored the first 6, but now the Mocs have held him in check. Also, the Mocs defense has held Mercer to just 1 3-pointer after 7 in the first half. Brody Robinson and Sam Alexis, the way they've played today.
Robinson off balance. Whoa! Johnson bringing it front court for the Mocs. He's been limited to 10, but he's been doing other good things. Inside, Alexis. Give him 26. Western Carolina losing earlier. They now have 7 conference losses, so if Chattanooga wins, they'd be just a game back in the loss column. Inside, nice feed. And Johnson with a 17-point game. Give the assist to Dalvin White. Shot clock at 5. Davis. Third time is the charm. Walker on the other end. And that kind of typifies what the stretch run was like for the Mercer Bears here this afternoon. Chattanooga Mocs, after a 10-point first half deficit, able to get it in gear in half number 2. Those 2 freshmen, a huge part of the story written today by Dan Earle's team.
And get it in gear is what they did. Boy, they were fantastic at both ends in the second half. They imposed their will defensively and then made shots at the offensive end.
Furman and Sanford have already won today. UNCG plays at home against Wofford on Sunday. Suddenly, the Chattanooga Mocs creeping up on 4th place Western Carolina, but they are currently in that safe zone of the top 6 in the Southern Conference as we approach mid-February.
Yeah, look, as you continue to look at those standings, as you mentioned, you've got to finish in the top 6. The Mocs took care of home. That's what they need to do, protect it where they're so good inside the roundhouse. Good win for Dan Earle's group.
73-56 our final score. The Mocs win. On behalf of Dean Keener and our great crew, Pete Hannity saying so long from Chattanooga. Now we head to the studio here on CBS Sports Network.